What would you say would be a piece of advice you would give to yourself or, a young girl that's graduating college and is kind of getting out into the real world for the first time?
Yeah, I've been thinking about that a lot lately, and I think
Hmm.
it's understand when to push, when to grind, when you need to achieve those next goals, and when to just like lean back, flow, and not like push yourself to like over. Like for me, I was like just in this, I don't know, like burnout phase because I wanted to achieve. But like at a certain point, like being able to balance that and your life, but also still being able to achieve and know when to, I think is the biggest point is know when to turn it on and when to be able to just sit back. Things will happen. You'll achieve those things, you'll achieve those goals, but patience.
Well, welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Big Hitters Podcast. I am here with Miranda. She works for the Deuce down in Phoenix, Arizona, I believe, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Phoenix, Arizona. Thanks so much for joining the show, Miranda.
Yeah. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Absolutely. Maybe just to start, give our audience just a little bit of your background and how you kind of landed in the event space world.
Yeah, absolutely. I originally was an athlete, ironically, a D1 athlete at ASU. I ran track, and I was in this mindset of I am going to work in sports. I was going to be a coach, all this stuff. I ended up breaking my hip twice.
Oh, boy.
And so I medically retired and started getting into operations on the sports side. And so long story short, that kind of just pushed me into events because very similar mindset, especially operations, a lot of details, a lot of information that you have to like piece together. And I've moved back and forth cross country, different venues, DMCs, event planning companies. So it's been a fun ride to get where I'm at and a lot of ups and downs, that's for sure.
Nice. That's so cool. In terms of the Deuce, maybe give our audience an idea. Obviously, we want to promote you guys as much as we can. So, what all do y'all offer? Is it everything from weddings to graduation parties to just one-off parties, or what exactly do y'all offer there?
Yeah, it's everything from like our main focus, corporate events. We're so close to the convention center. We have great partners there, and we do weddings. It's a little harder, especially if we want to host a few in our space, especially on weekends because that's the popular spot. Small birthday parties to large events that we do ticketing and like have the public come in. We were originally a like full bar and restaurant Tuesdays through
Hmm.
Sundays. We were featured on Drive-In and Dives, and
No
then
way! Wow.
yeah, so that's kind of where we got like known, and then kind of geared more into the event world. Really, kind of our bread and butter.
Yeah, that's awesome. Did you meet Guy for our? Is it Fari? Blonde hair dude.
Yeah, unfortunately, I didn't get to. It was a little
Okay.
before my time there, but yeah, that's definitely what we're known for: the chicken pot pie and the mac and cheese muffins.
Cool. That's awesome. Okay. What would you say? Forgive my ignorance. I mean, I think I told you so. I helped start an engagement ring company that is still going today, which has been a lot of fun. I've kind of had my hands in a couple different businesses, but the event space one has always been pretty intriguing to me. So maybe walk us through working in the event space. What is maybe one or two just like challenges that you see that are oftentimes hard to solve? And then what are maybe one or two things that seem like they're going really well for you guys right now?
Yeah, I think the biggest challenge is there are different people and personalities in the space. So it's like trying to manage that in the aspect of like understanding the expectation from a vendor versus a client versus one of the staff members. Like every person is so different, and trying to not only balance those personalities but also be able to like coordinate them in the proper way, to be able to work together and make sure it's like the best like event. And then what was the
So,
second
are
question?
you, if you don't mind me just pausing you real quick, when you say that, so it sounds like I got married this last year, and so I I saw a little bit of what that world was like. But it sounds like there's a lot of vendors that kind of work individually, and then depending on the party or the event, you guys have to collectively bring these vendors together, kind of make sure they're all on the same page and everyone's kind of doing their job. Is that sort of what you mean by kind of some of the challenges there?
Yeah, yeah. We are such a unique venue. A lot of venues actually don't handle a lot of that for their clients. We take everything on. So we take everything from entertainment to production to decor, everything for our client. Our client tells us what they want and we handle it all. I think that's also a huge draw to our spot because not only do we have a lot of things internally, like our DJs, our saxophonists, our bartenders, all that stuff, but like we also bring in all these other vendors and being able to like tell them when they can load in or where they need to go and like do we have power for them and just like trying to piece all those things together. And
Hmm.
we have changed so much from like when we first started too, because when we first started doing that it was like, oh, what do we do? And like for me, I had to go and learn the other side of the world. I actually left the Deuce originally, and learned the other side to understand kind of what clients are expecting.
Mm.
And I think that's also really been beneficial for what I need to do and also just kind of elevate the experience.
Hmm. That's awesome. I think the second part of my question was what's going well, but maybe we can kind of change that to what's maybe a goal or something that y'all want to see improved going into 2026.
Yeah, I think our biggest topic of conversation is trying to lean even more strictly on events. Like we're so close to like not having public hours in general and
Mm,
becoming a strict event venue completely versus say like we're open on a random Saturday or whatever. That doesn't really bring a draw anymore because people don't know if we're open or closed.
I
And
see.
so just trying to do internal stuff too. And so like our Halloween show, or we just had a rock and roll show. So we do bring in this band from Vegas and sell
So
tickets and,
cool.
do all that fun stuff that we're trying to spin our minds and be a little bit more creative on that end. I think that's kind of really what we're gearing towards in 26.
That's awesome. So would I guess if everything was on, I don't want to say reservation, but just like private party basis, would that just help from like a organizational standpoint? I assume just because you kind of know each month, each week what you've got on the books, and you're not going to expect a random busy night that the public and everyone's going to come in. Is that kind of the thought process?
Yeah, ironically, we just closed our reservation portal this week because we were just like, the people that can make a reservation online are not getting the experience we want them to get.
Hmm.
So why not tailor that a little bit better? Have them reach out. We'll make sure, are we available? Are we going to be able to provide them a good experience? Are there going to be entertainment? Like, and if not, like, hey, this day's available instead of like just throwing them in a corner and hope you have a good time and then 30 minutes later they maybe get their food and it's cold or whatever because we have three other events going on or whatnot.
Mm.
So like for us I think it's definitely a preparation, but like on the other end it's making sure our guests and our clients have a great experience.
Yeah, that's so cool. You mentioned it sounds like your industry specifically is very detail oriented. Would you say that's accurate?
Yeah, I think for me, like I'm a perfectionist.
Hmm.
So like I look at the littlest details, like the bowl out of place or like the sign. Just something so small, but it those details do matter. And like we have some clients that are like so detail oriented because they want to make sure their guests have a great experience. And we have some that are just like whatever, which is great because like for my end, I'm like I'm already that way. And like
Yeah,
that's kind of, it's taught me not only to be so detail oriented with my career, but like also my personal life. Like just like
totally.
being able to be like, schedule out, or like if you saw my schedule, you'd be like, what in the world?
Yeah. Well, that makes sense. I mean, in that world, I feel like if you're not organized and you mess some things up, it's like, gosh. client has a
Yeah.
bad experience, and that's kind of everything for you guys. I'm sure reviews and just giving people the experience they pay for. Yeah, that totally adds up. Would you say? I know we talked offline a little bit about AI stuff, but have y'all seen some AI tools kind of being filtered into the event space? Is there anything you feel like AI could be helpful with? Talk to me about that a little bit.
Yeah, I think a little bit. I think there's still some progress that is need to be made, and honestly, like I've even had someone that I know that was kind of looking into like an event style business like platform for events that can tailor into a business, and a customer can come in and just pick out like those options without having to like have to pay for a planner and have to do those things. But I feel like there's also that like experience that is missing on really understanding what the client wants, and like the above and beyond like measure to be able to like elevate that experience. So like, hey, I want a disco event. So cool, but how about we add this? How about we add this? How about we add this, instead of just picking from a list or whatnot? And AI is really good at like even just coming up with themes or like coming up with some like fun ideas.
Hmm.
But I still don't think that's all the way there yet, because there's also like what's available in Phoenix,
Hmm.
what vendors can offer this and all that stuff. So I'm sure soon we'll see even an elevated experience in that regard. And I hope that doesn't take out my job, but
Totally. Yeah. Well, I mean, I think we a lot of the conversations I've had, it seems like I'm hoping AI can just be a tool. It already is a tool, but I'm hoping it continue to just be a tool that actually just helps make everyone's lives easier and more efficient, as opposed to replacing people's jobs. But it's probably coming for all of us at some point. So
yeah, how do you see it in like the ring business? Is it kind of developing?
yeah, good question. So you can look us up if you want after this, but the company's called Faithful Platform. So we are fully online. One of the reasons we did that was, one, it allows us to keep our overhead, down, and there's not nearly as many expenses that come with that. So that keeps pricing down, which I think is a big thing in today's world. Everyone's looking for the best price, right? What we've kind of done is kind of used a combination of, like, have you heard of like a virtual assistant before?
Yeah.
I don't know if y'all have ever used a virtual assistant, but essentially it's a person in the Philippines, or we typically recruit out of the Philippines, but you're paying them like, maybe $6 or $7 an hour. But for them, that's actually like 5 times the daily wage.
Right.
So the reason I brought that up was we have our virtual assistants do a lot of, I brought up the details to you because we have so many details on our end as well. And so some combination of using AI within your CRM systems to kind of link different details that you need, as well as having kind of a virtual assistant who is doing a lot of the like other kind of tedious tasks that honestly I just feel like a lot of Americans don't really want to do, and it's also kind of hard to pay an American to do some of that admin type stuff. So that's been really really helpful for us, because I'm sure. Do y'all have, what would you say, like, if you could wave a magic wand, what would be one problem you feel like it'd be awesome if AI could just solve, even personally for you in your day to day?
Yeah, I think I'm already starting to see a little bit, it's like the meeting recorder, and just like taking those notes of like, okay, the expectation, this is what they want, timeline, all that stuff. But like being able to integrate that into like you said, our CRM would be amazing. Like just instead of like, okay, it takes notes, it sends me an email, whatever, but then I still have to take those notes, input it in the right areas and all that stuff. Imagine if it was like AV and it just put under AV and like food, this is what they want for food. Like, and just kind of fills out that
Hmm.
BEO, banquet event order, like, and not having me or someone else having to input all that information would be phenomenal.
Totally. Yeah. Yeah. Thinking right now, I have a friend named George who I think could maybe help with that. Yeah, I mean, the thing about AI too that's funny is there's so many tools that are always new. I feel like it's hard to even know sometimes what's really out there.
Yeah.
Are you do you when you guys have like client calls, is it usually through like Google, or is it in person? Is it a phone call? What does that kind of look like?
All of the above. We use Google Meets a lot, Zoom, all that, and then Emails are a huge one for us, just to be able to get like the details in writing, obviously. But we obviously have to walk the space with the client, look at everything, and then like yeah, phone calls are a huge one. I am literally on my phone 24/7. Doesn't matter.
Hmm.
I can
I
be
know.
2 a.m. and I'm still responding more to my staff, but like having to answer those calls, and some people are like just turn off, and I personally can't because like one, I don't want something to go wrong, but two, like
Hmm.
that's something that like it could be an emergency, could not, but like rather just solve it then and there than waiting until a day or two later. But like some of that stuff would be great to just even like have that phone call from that client, and like it already has those notes already done versus, having to like remember or like take physical notes. I'm like such a note person, but it'd be
Hmm.
nice.
Totally. Yeah. Yeah. I'm certain there's a tool that can actually take notes really well. One of the things I can leave you with, are you responding to a lot of emails personally? Are you
Yes.
typing these emails?
Yep. Yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
So there's a tool that I need to tell you about because I just figured this out the other day and I felt so dumb. I was like, how did I not know about this years ago? It's called Whisper. Let me just see if I can find it. Whisper. So it's WISPR, Whisper Flow is what it's called. But it's awesome. So you basically can just, click a command key on your computer and talk to type, and it'll actually format your email almost perfectly. It's a lot better than some of the other like Apple ones that I've used. This is a
Yeah.
completely separate app. So I would really encourage you to download that because your email response time will just go it's going to change everything. Because typically I'm spending multiple hours a morning just on emails, but now it's like been cut down to 30 minutes even.
Wow.
So yeah, I would definitely check Whisper out. It's a really great tool.
I love that. Yeah, I
Let's
definitely will.
see here. Okay, that's good. Awesome. Well, let's maybe talk a little bit more about kind of your day to day. So, what does like a typical day for someone like you look like? Obviously, you're director of operations. I can imagine it's a lot of meetings, booking calls, things like that. What else kind of comes with your role throughout your day to day?
Yeah, I am such a like my day is based on what is happening on my schedule. So
Hmm.
there is something so simple as like Monday I have 3 meetings with clients, and then I'm more of like that piece that the business needs to piece all the information together. So not only am I taking what the client wants, what we have going on in the business, but I'm taking that, filtering it down to security, valet, staff, bartenders, all that stuff to be able to then those leads go and tell their staff. So I think for me, like it's a huge missing piece in sometimes a lot of our businesses, just communication. And I'm like, it's so
Mm-hmm.
simple, but so like for me at least so simple. Some people maybe it's not, but communication in general. So then I spend a lot of my time on that. But then could be I have an event I have to be in at 2 p.m. And then work through the event. I'm normally more there for setup, making sure things run properly, especially for the big stuff. Some of the small stuff I'm not there for. We have team members that can handle that. But really just making sure everything's aligned with setup and what the client's expecting, and the staff knows what they're doing. And yeah, so it really just depends on day per day. I'm kind of at that like turning point in my life of like when am I the operator versus like when can I be like the leader, and trying to
Mm,
delegate and learn that a little bit more. And I have this itch of like taking that step back even more. Obviously, like I'm like grind, grind, grind always, but there's a
totally.
point of like, okay, when do I like learn how to delegate versus not, and all that stuff.
Totally. Yeah, that makes a ton of sense. Yeah, I feel like the communication piece that you brought up is so vital, especially I know within your industry it sounds like there's so many emails and just like deadlines and people have to show up on time and people have to know exactly what to do and where to be, and so I could see how that could get complicated a little bit.
Yeah, like, every person's different, every business is different. But at the end of the day, I feel like every business has some sort of like kind of like what I do. That's kind
Hmm.
of why I like operations, but like it's kind of like sales where you have to have those pieces to be able to like work together very well. And like just imagining like all the details, all the things that you need for like your ring business and everything else
Hmm.
that like, and that communication that you have to do not only with the clients but with everyone else on the back end.
Yeah, absolutely. That's so true. We'll definitely want to respect your time here. Maybe kind of one final question for the audience. So I like to ask each guest this just because I'm writing down everyone's response. But what would you say would be a piece of advice you would give to yourself, or a young girl that's graduating college and is kind of getting out into the real world for the first time?
Yeah, I've been thinking about that a lot lately, and I think
Hmm.
it's understand when to push, when to grind, when you need to achieve those next goals, and when to just like lean back, flow, and not like push yourself to like over. Like for me, I was like just in this I don't know, like burnout phase because I wanted to achieve. But like at a certain point, like being able to balance that and your life, but also still being able to achieve and know when to, I think is the biggest point, is know when to turn it on and when to be able to just sit back. Things will happen. You'll achieve those things, you'll achieve those goals, but patience.
That's so good. I love that. Well, Miranda, this was a lot of fun. Maybe stay on for a few more minutes and we can chat a little bit more, but really appreciate you coming on and thanks for giving us your time.
Yeah, thank you so much, Chase.
Absolutely. This was fun. Thanks for watching, everyone. See you next time.